Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle video tutorial on Photoshop and creating line brushes or line patterns, line designs. This sort of line design, it can be horizontal, it can be vertical. Perfectly reasonable. You could even make it diagonal if you want. Now I'm using pixels, but you could use shapes just as reasonable as well. So what I'm going to do, just going to completely clear this. So edit and fill, and going to go with white, click OK. So the first thing to do, rectangles. And a key panel is very handy, swatches. So you can find that in window and swatches and the grayscales. Because brushes, and of course those you could make obviously green, blue, whatever, make pattern designs exactly the same way. You could use colours with these lines instead. So I'm now just going to go for normal there and set it obviously to black initially. Now I think it's quite useful is to create a layer. So layer and new layer, and then just add some lines to that, and you can just stretch it out. And I want it to fill the entire design, so I'm just going all the way up from the top to bottom, and I'm just going to create a couple of these, and also I'm going to change colour now and some more, and you can create thousands of different designs like this very quickly and easily. And just go down there. Now what you can also do, you can always go to blending modes, you can go to difference and just set that to white. And you can just go on top there and you can just create different ones there. And there's other blending modes of course, which you can combine to create all number of combinations. And also if you want of course, you can also use opacity. So you don't have to, obviously white there, I can reduce that down to a grey, but also I can go for, say, black, and just add that on top there. So you can create a variety of different designs. Now, once you've done that, it's a layer. So what you can do, you can go to a layer and smart objects and convert to smart objects. Now, of course, if I'd gone over here, just gone with this, and I could have gone for pixel mode, that would have been just as easy, and I could have done much the same thing. So now with this design, this is a smart object. I can drag along, I can hold down the Alt or Option key, and I can duplicate the design. And I can overlap as well. I don't have to have it sort of side. I can also squeeze that. And again, hold down the Alt or Option key, duplicate that down there, overlap again. Also, because it's a layer, what you can do, if you can find it, here's the layers. You can go here for blending modes as well, so you can run through these. So maybe difference there, and then go with that one for difference. So you can create some very complex line designs very quickly and easily using combination of these layers and pixels, etc. So let's flatten the entire thing. So what you can do now, obviously you could create other ones as well, you can extend it, you can apply other effects maybe. However, I'm just going to define it as a brush. So edit and define brush preset. You can see then you've got a brush. Now, the result of this brush is slightly odd because it just doesn't actually size it in the way that you think it should be sized. Very strange. Just obviously the way they define the brushes. But you've got this brush design. So the size is not exactly I've got a document here of 560. You've got 540, I should say. So 540 over here, it's been defined as 540. Well, it clearly, when you click on there, it's not 540. So there's a slight oddity there. What you can also do, you can always go to edit and define a pattern. And you can see the pattern doesn't actually include the entire design. It's just got this very thin line. As far as it's concerned, this whole design here doesn't exist. It's just this thin line. So click OK. Now what you can do, of course, you can go to layer. But let's just move this, just so edit and fill, white. You can go to layer, new fill layer, and pattern. Click OK, and it's one of my old ones. So let's just go down. Never uses the pattern you just defined. Always a feature, I think, I'm not certain why they just don't let's go to the bottom one, which is the most obvious one. Why the top one? Top one is probably one you used ages ago and probably hardly any use. Why not the bottom one, which you probably just defined? Would make more sense. Anyway, me quibble on that. However, what you've got is a pattern. And you can move it around, move it backwards and forwards. You can see it's a nice seamless design. And also, of course, what you can do, because it's you can scale it. So you can see now you've got a line design there, and you can still move that design. And of course, with that, you can combine it as well. So you can always go to layer and duplicate layer. Press turn on that and move that around. And of course, what you can do, you can combine that as well. So you can go through darken, difference, and so on and so on. So you can create some very intense dark line designs. So again, now this is still a seamless design. Again, you could go to edit and define pattern, or brush, which I'm just going to do, define pattern. And again, you can see it just creates that line. And then you can use that. So layer, new fill layer, pattern, click OK. And again, it goes back to the old one, right at the top. Very strange. There's the design there, and you can see that can be moved around. Now, of course, you can't apply effects directly to that, but you can, of course, go to layer, smart objects, convert to smart object. So that's a smart object now. You see that over here in layers. What you can do, you can apply effects to that. So filter, maybe liquefy, distort. You can always use wave. And you can see then you've got this lovely design there, wrap around. Click OK. And you can create actually quite a painful design like that, but there's obviously other ones as well. So you can go to distort and maybe pinch and squeeze the lines like that. Actually distorts pretty badly, to be honest. But you can, of course, also use, let's hope it works, because sometimes when I go to liquefy seems to have a temperamental at the moment. So liquefy, cross fingers, it's all okay. Yes, it's gone in. Oh, nope. And you can see what you can do. You can distort the lines like that. Don't know what was happening there. It's suddenly getting a bit confused on itself. Click OK. Hopefully it runs through there. And you can see the end result there. And of course, you can always blur the designs. Maybe use filter, stylize, oil paint to slightly make it a bit more smeary like that. Well, hope you found this tutorial of interest. Always adding new tutorials all the time about Photoshop, Illustrator, Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, and many others. Also, if you've got any comments, always please put them down. So anything I did wrong, anything I did right, maybe explain what about the brushes. It's weird when you define a brush that's 540, so it's 560 anyway, but 540, and then suddenly when you apply it, clearly it's smaller. There's obviously a logic to it I cannot understand. Also, please check out the Graphicxtras website, because I'm always adding lots of tutorials on there as well as obviously on this channel as well. Also a dislike or like. Thank you much.